Happy Sunday. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are here live, so happy to have you. I am Renita Alexander, the Leadership Locksmith, and you are in the right place. This is Set It Up Sunday, my weekly conversation on how to set up your week, your month, your life for success, and whatever way you define success. So I am here. I'm happy to be here. Happy for those of you that are here live. Happy that you are here with me. So thank you for joining me if you're here live. If you are here after the fact, I'm going to be asking some questions. So, feel free to chime in. For those of you that are here, just say hey. Let me know that you're here. Send me a wave. Just say hello, hey, hi, however you feel comfortable greeting me as well as the rest of the folks that are here. So I'll be asking some questions along the way. If you're not here live, be sure and chime in and share what you know about the topic that we're discussing today. So, I started doing Set It Up Sunday a few months ago, and I find that what I focus on a lot is around leading yourself. This is Leadership Unlocked, and leading yourself is one of the foundational parts. It's the foundational part to being a great leader. And it's also the hardest leadership task. And so I talk about that a lot because I think that if you can get that right as a leader, the rest of it can come more easily. And so I talk about leading yourself in a lot of different ways. This week, I've been focused on the self-development, the development part of leading yourself. Because if you're not, developing yourself as a leader, then you're probably not leading very well. I believe we're either developing and growing or stagnant and dying. So we don't want to be dead if we're here as leaders. We want to be growing and continuing to grow into our leadership. And so the first part of developing yourself is learning about you. Who are you? What are you all about? And there's just so many ways to do that. There's so many ways to learn about yourself. You can do self-assessments. You can ask people, to give their impression, and then be reflective about that. So awareness is the first part. And, for me, that's been kind of easy because I'm a learner. And I'll talk about, learning and being aware in a couple of weeks. But the way you really grow is to do something with the information that you gain about yourself, apply it to your life so you can focus on the things that you are here to do, because we all are here for a reason. It's not arbitrary. We are here. We have a purpose for being here. And I take a holistic approach to that self-development. I look at all aspects of the self, the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual, and focus on each aspect of the development in those areas. And believe it or not, each aspect affects the other aspects. So, to be holistically healthy, we really have to be focused on all aspects of our life. If we neglect one aspect, we'll find that we are impacted or affected in another aspect. So we're going to start with the physical. Now, we live in these magnificently complex vessels, our bodies. They just work without us thinking about it. They were created by the Creator just to, we don't have to think about our breath. We don't have to make our heart beat. We don't have to make the blood flow. All of that just happens naturally. I do a segment on Clubhouse called Just Breathe. It's one of the few bodily functions that we can really control by, slowing our breaths down, taking deep breaths, and actually can impact other functions of our body, like our heart rate, by doing that. But for the most part, these vessels just work on their own. They're just doing their own thing. And so it's important that we take care of them. We have to take care of these vessels so that we can do what we're supposed to do in the best way that we can. And so I've talked about movement. I talk a lot about movement as a way to maintain your physical health. But it also has other benefits, and I'll talk about that. But I'm also a big proponent of some kind of resistance training. So be it isometric training where you're just using your own body weight, or actually using weights or bands or machines to create some kind of a resistance that your muscles have to push against. The importance of resistance training was really re-emphasized to me when I became a group training instructor and then a personal trainer. Because here's the thing, after about age 20, right, we start to lose muscle every year. And so resistance training is a way to maintain the muscle, and that impacts our metabolism, and it impacts our ability to move. We also have to be careful about what we put into our bodies. What we eat plays the biggest role in our physical health. And whether or not we develop those conditions that affect our quality of life. And there's one ingredient that I want to touch on, and that has really done a number on our bodies, on our holistic health, and that is sugar. Sugar is a big part of much of the processed food we eat, and so it's really important to adjust our diets based on how we respond to sugar. And everybody's going to respond differently, but just kind of understanding how your body responds to that ingredient, because it's in everything. Pretty much everything that is processed is a big part of understanding yourself physically. Now, some individuals may actually exhibit signs of addiction to sugar. Again, and that's not just a physical addiction, but that can impact our mental and emotional and spiritual health. And it's not just what we ingest, it's not just how we, move, what we watch, eat. It's not just what we eat, what we watch, read, and listen to. So we're ingesting things constantly, but not just through our mouths. What we listen to, what we watch, the people that we allow access to us, all of that impacts our spiritual, emotional, and mental health. And so, I want to talk a little bit about that spiritual piece, and that I'm a seeker. I'm always seeking truths, and I'm a big reader. I have read, in addition to the Bible, which is a part of my morning devotion, I have it all on my phone. I do a plan. I do the YouVersion Bible, and they send me something every morning for me to ponder on. And then, I've been reading Proverbs of late, just because it's such a great way to just kind of learn about how to maintain your life and how to govern yourself in life. But we can also do physical things that help us spiritually. And so one of the things that I talk about movement from a physical perspective, but it also impacts me spiritually and emotionally and mentally. So when I kind of feeling confused and need a little clarity, one of the things that I do is I take a walk. And one of my favorite places to walk is out by the lake. I'm blessed in that I live close to the Lake Michigan lakefront. And it's just something about that water that just kind of soothes my spirit and helps me gain some clarity around what it is I'm supposed to be doing. And so, taking care of your spiritual health is, such an important part of development. And then the emotional piece, your emotional health. And you can develop yourself emotionally by just being aware of what you are feeling, what you are thinking, being in the present moment, and being aware of everything that you're thinking and you're feeling. And then, making that connection to how you are actually behaving. A lot of times we respond or we react to something, from the oldest part of our brain. I've talked about that. Our emotional center is located in the oldest part of our brain. And sometimes we react emotionally before we've had an opportunity to process it in this frontal cortex, this logic center. But the more we can do that, where we can connect what we're feeling and then make a conscious choice about how we're behaving, the more we're developing ourselves emotionally. And so just kind of being aware of what we're feeling, honoring our feelings, because they are valid. We get to feel what we're feeling. Our emotions are telling us something about how we're processing what we're experiencing in this world. So they are valid. We don't have to, ignore them. We shouldn't suppress them, because if we do, they come out sometimes in unexpected ways. But we have to honor them, reflect on them, process them, and then it's through those things that we can, develop emotionally. And then that last piece that I want to talk about is that mental development, and we do that by challenging ourselves with this exposure to new concepts. So it doesn't have to always be something intellectual or something that we've read, but actually going out and doing something that is new, or taking a new way to work, a route to work, or just doing something that's different, and exposing ourselves to difference is one of the ways that we grow mentally. So I'd be curious, for those of you that are here live, and I see Carrie's watching. Thanks, Carrie, for being here. Paulina is here. And even if you are not here live, if you happen to catch this at some later point, I would love for you to share what are some of the things that you've done to develop yourself physically and spiritually and mentally and emotionally. So for those of you that are here now, if you want to share, I want to give you honor your time, but I want to give you an opportunity to share in the comments if you've got some ideas that you want to share with the group of how you have grown or how you develop yourself in those ways. So I'm going to give it a couple of minutes on this Sunday night. If anybody's going to share, I'm watching the comments on my phone as well as on StreamYard. I'm not seeing a lot on StreamYard. And sometimes there's a delay on Facebook, so I'm going to give it a minute. Oh, you can also tell me what you think about my new glasses. So they're purple. Okay, I'm not seeing a lot, not seeing any comments. So hopefully maybe we'll get some at some later point. All right, well, I want to honor your time. Thank you for those of you that are here with me live. Thank you so much for joining in. Again, if you are watching this at a later date or later time, please jump in and share the things that you do to develop yourself in all the ways that we've talked about. Thank you again for joining me, for those of you that are here live. And I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your Sunday evening and an amazing week this week. And I'll be back here again next Sunday evening for Set It Up. And I hope that you join me. Have a great evening.